Hello friends, greetings. Welcome to How to Valent channel. This is DBA Valent stream. Today in this video, um, we're not going to see any practical sessions. I'm just going to share about one of my experience with a poor performance issue with one of my databases that I'm supporting. You may wonder why is he going to share about this. This is kind of performance issues normally attract me a lot, or I get more interested in performance issues because because of the so many incidents that I have come across, and I try to get involved and try to fix them as much as possible and share my experience with the developers every now and then possible. And I wouldn't say myself as a very good performance tuning expert, but I know some amount of performance tuning because I have read 3 books on, let's say for instance, expert Oracle architecture and art and science of performance tuning, cost-based optimizer by Jonathan Lewis. These are few books that I name, and at least in the last 15-16 years, hundreds of 200s of performance issues I have faced, starting from database version 8a until 19c in Oracle alone. So yeah. I mean, if you ask me, other areas of Oracle also attracts me. Like I always say, Oracle is my mother tongue, so it's my mother technology. So I see every new technology getting introduced through Oracle lenses. Oracle is my lens. So that's the reason I say. I have worked in designing the database, architecting the platform, and so on. But performance is one area which really interests me, and benchmarking and stress testing some new delivery really interests me. So that's the reason I go into the depths of the various components and how they interact, and are they designed for performance or not. All that I do evaluate whenever I get a chance, and whenever a new implementation goes through, I really would love to stress them to see how they perform. So being uh, being the performance field very interesting to me, I came across an incident in 2 years back in the year of 2023. Compared to an engagement which lasted for nearly 15 years, this is relatively a new engagement for me. Very small footprint of databases, but a very mixed footprint: Oracle, MS SQL, DB2, MySQL, PostgreSQL. The variety is there, but previously I was able to develop expertise in one technology, which is Oracle, with a vast majority of a huge amount of workload in Oracle, but now variety of workload. So I got a chance to get introduced myself to Postgres, MySQL, MS SQL, DB2, and I was able to compare how Oracle performs with compared to other DBs. Each database has its own pros and cons. Yep, Oracle is in the front runner. I'd never decline the fact because they spent quite amount of investment on making that as a front runner. Many databases still catching up Oracle. If you don't know, AWS is doing a lot of reverse engineering of a lot of Oracle's feature back to uh, their own RDBMS flavors. So you can think then how Oracle become a market leader in the database area. But now, are they still sustaining the market leadership? It's a different story all to talk about. So we're not going to go into that. So what I'm just trying to say is my experience with Oracle and various other products. So why performance? Why we are going to talk about performance today? A particular incident. So this particular incident I came across, being this relatively a very small footprint, I did not anticipate this particular performance is going to haunt me. It's like it's going to be my nightmare. I underestimated as well this platform and this performance issue. I have seen workloads of several terabytes and millions of execution. I have seen millions of IOPS and several GBs of IO bandwidth. Way back, 7-8 years back itself, I have seen them. One machine generating millions of IOPS, 2 million IOPS, and at the same time, 30 GB gigabytes, not bits, gigabytes per second. With those machines, I have not seen the performance issue that I have seen here. It's mainly because that machine, the one which I have seen in the past, was designed to perform well, application and the DB together. But here, this platform and this engagement being relatively very small, but still this particular issue is mainly because of poor application design and no vendor support. But what does an experienced Oracle DBA can do to fix the issue? Has Oracle got any solution for such a poorly designed application? Because you may think I even challenge many times Oracle that Oracle wants to upscale their product, at the same time relatively reduce um, the stress on the DBA, or to add value to the customer mainly. So when I say reduce the stress on the DBA, means the dependency on the DBA also gets reduced. They introduce automation every now and then and in every place possible, and they have this Oracle support. With their automation, they are able to collect all the data they need, and at the same and they are able to triage the performance. Triage any issues that we face. For instance, cluster node evictions. Now, the TFA data that it is collecting, it collects most of the information they need. CRS, alert log, ASM alert log, DB alert log, voice messages, if you have root access. So, and then also it has cluster monitor health checks now. So those details also goes. Every 1 second it collects cluster monitor and voice watcher data and so on. So they collect whatever they need and they are able to easily arrive at the issue details. So what will eventually happen? The customer doesn't need a very expertized or experienced Oracle DBA. Relatively less experienced DBA is good enough to upload whatever information Oracle asks for. Alright. So, but the performance issue is one area where Oracle keeps evolving, but can never actually offer one solution. For instance, data file addition. Oracle came back with a wonderful solution of big file. But you may wonder, is big file a solution really? No, it's not the case. Big file has its own problem. We cannot go with big file in every single place. But is big file a solution? Yes, in few places where you have extensive amount of data file additions happening every now and then. There will be relatively a small amount of time there is a lock held when you add a data file where application can face a performance issues. There big file can benefit you, but not in all the places. It has its own limitations. So just like I said, big file is one solution where no more data file needs to be added. The solution came, and there are many other places where automations were introduced to facilitate, also improve the DBS performance, maybe you can say. But But the performance is one area where it always keeps evolving and keeps changing. So Oracle tries to Oracle. I have attended many for um, Oracle community groups and meetups. Many times, what the Oracle employees are their ambassadors who arranges this meeting and so on. So they say is whenever a new feature is introduced in Oracle, they say we do the work for you. You can just relax. But so now now you may understand what I'm trying to say. This is an application where Oracle. I mean, this is an application where Oracle needs to really step up and help them because the application is not very well properly designed. It's an application can run on several DB products, DB2, MS SQL, Oracle, and so on. So for the application, interoperability was the main uh, goal rather than operating in one database flavor and operating well. So it was never designed for one database. So they made it interoperable, but never thought about performance in one platform. So, and to add more complexity or to make the situation worse, they never thought about the vendor support is also lost. So now coming to the problem. This was, like I said, 2 years back. I just joined 6 months. I mean, I was just 6 months old or 6 months experience in this engagement. One fine day, I came across a performance issue where it was not really an incident, it was a problem investigation. There was a long outstanding problem which was never fixed. So, can you take a look? And what's the problem? We have been having a CPU incident every day morning between 9 and 9:30 where the particular machine has 10x more workload to handle than its normal CPU count. Say I have 25 CPU, 250 or 300 is the run queue on the machine during the particular window of 9 to 9:30. Yeah, 9 to 9:30 is the office hours, the beginning of the office hours. So the employees log in between 9 to 9:30. At that time, this problem starts, and eventually it never repeats. So yeah, we observed it, and I started triaging the incident. I used AWR, ASH, ADDM reports, and then I found it was very easy. I saw the top 10 AVT events. Even you would have seen, I wrote a blog about it, and I even one time I used it for one of my AI tools, understanding AI tool or how AI tools can help triaging such issues. So if you see a couple of videos are already dedicated for this particular performance issue. So maybe this is the third video, but this is going to talk a lot and more in detail about that performance issue. Okay, you can consider this like a story for you. So now, so between 9 and 9:30, this incident spikes and CPU saturates. The top 10 wait events will show cursor pin as wait event. And if you go to the elapsed SQL, you will know 3 SQLs will be there. The parent SQL being the long run, and there will be 2 child SQLs. The parent SQL will be called only 2000 or 3000 times because that's the number of employees that's going to log in at that window. And the child SQLs will be 65,000 times more than the parent SQL. One child SQL and the other child SQL will be 130,000 times more than the 130,000 times the number of parent SQL run. So the cursor pin is wait event. If you look at my blog, you understand what cursor pin is wait event. So it's mainly generated during the parsing stage. So you anyway have to do soft parsing. If you not doing hard parsing, it's fine. So you can tune the code to make it soft parse, which is absolutely happening. But soft parse you cannot avoid it. Still again you need to validate some 15 validations or so something happens. If you look at the various why is a new child cursor created? If you look at your SQL one view is there. So you will see why child cursor, I think SQL underscore cursor view, where you will see the reason why a new cursor is created. There are 15 checks or something like that happens. And few of them involves performance statistics also, cardinality feedback or adaptive cursor sharing and so on. So, so you cannot avoid soft parsing. So, and that eventually you will have a problem with cursor piness, where you need to protect your cursor at any cost. In Oracle, you cannot allow any changes to the dependent tables or views while the cursor or this select statement is getting executed, or the cursor is in operation. So it anyway you cannot avoid it. So it's very justified wait even, but the volume of or the percentage of time that the sessions are waiting and the cursor piness wait even is so huge, because the workload is nearly 10x more than the CPU and the machines are available. So in such incidents, mainly now I came across this SQL. I will now probably, rather than just seeing only this screen, let's take a look at the statement, the select statement, and if you see here, this is how the actual production query looks like. It's not the actual query, but this is how the production query looks like. It's nearly 100 or 100 lines query or so. But I kept a very simplified form for you. The more details about this particular incident I'm talking about is already given here. Why cursor piness comes up and what can you do, and all that I already tested and I documented it. And if you see, it's around the same time I faced the issue in my engagement, because I wanted to test the issue in my lab and test the solution also. All that I did. Okay, and the feedbacks from here, my lab, are shared with the customer, and they were very happy and they didn't take any actions after that. And again, after 2 years, it became a very big challenge. What sort of challenge? The employees started complaining about application unavailability, very poor performance issues of late. In the last 2 years, application workload also increased. 700 executions was the total number of executions 2 years back. Now there is 2,700 executions happening, 3-fold to 4-fold increase in the number of executions. So that means further say already 10 times more. Now it is 15 times or 20 times more than the number of CPUs on the machine. And at times the server goes unresponsive. So here is when Oracle's Resource Manager CPU Quantum, the CPU related wait event pops up and at least saves the machine from crashing or going unresponsive. So if you ask me whether we need to have the resource manager, yes, absolutely you need. Otherwise, if you don't have a very well designed application, then resource manager, having none set for the resource manager, then you will definitely face problems. So ensure your parameter and file in Oracle DB has a resource manager pointing to a policy, which is a day policy or night policy. Night is for the maintenance, day policy for the business. Anyway, coming back to the query, you can look at this query. There are 7 tables involved in this query, but in the query actually you will see only 6 tables, starting from table 1 until table 6. And the table 1 joins with table 2 on left outer, it performs left outer join. So, and then table 2 joins with table 3 on again left outer join. And then there is one more table which is called table 4, which is in EQ join with table 1. Here comes the main thing. There is a function, and here there were table 1 dot column 2 equals some binder, and table 2 dot column 3 or something. I'm just giving you an example. This is really not the actual query. I'm just giving you an example. So like this few restrictive columns, whether you as soon as you see a UQ join and a couple of bind variables in the select statement in the preference class, and there is a function, and then an exist based subqueries. So these were the overall this is how the query looks. So you have 7 tables and few preference clauses, filter conditions, and a function, and then exist class. So you see, so many exists are there. One for the parent subquery, and then several other exist class. 4 more exists. So this is a query I came across. So when 2 years back, when I was triaging the incident, I narrowed it down such that this function getting called 65,000 is the main concern, within which we have a we have two child SQL. One child SQL calls equal to the number of times the function was called, and then the other child SQL it gets executed 2 times the number of times the parent SQL is called. So you can imagine the effect on the cursor that we are going to face, because being a recursive call, it created so much of chaos. All right, so I told them 2 years back that this is the main concern. If you can optimize the number of times the child SQLs within the function getting called can be optimized, then it's good choice. If not, we need to look at the other options. And then I gave up for 2 years. Then recently on 1st of February and around another day in March, we again faced a problem. Then it became a very big issue. I actually couldn't stop thinking about the problem, because having some amount of experience in performance issues in Oracle, I did not want to give up on this. I thought maybe if we can tune the plan to reduce the number of calls made to the function, then we will be able to fix the issue. That was the whole idea. So I started my assessment. Again, AWR, ADDMA, such everything started. I tried looking at some quick fixes. So the execution plan looks like this: filters, and right outer join, right outer hash join, and a function, and it's called 65,000 times. My aim was to get rid of the 65,000 times. If I reduce it by 10 times also, number of CPU workload is going to reduce by 10 times. It is a directly proportional one, but it will reduce on the same number. I don't know, I cannot tell you exactly, but it will reduce. That's the whole idea. So what are the various measures I took? So first, I assessed the table statistics. 7 tables I told you, right? Yes, I assessed the statistics on all the 7 tables, and I even used Copilot and Gemini to plot the year diagram between the 7 tables. And I wanted to even share with you guys how to do that. Maybe I'll do it as a separate video. See, I started using AI tools in my DBA life. So eventually my goal is to become a DBA with AI experience. So I call myself as an AI DBA. Funny. You need to still help the AI tools to come up with what you want. The year diagram, I had one query, and the query gives me some result. Then I need to give that to the AI tools to come up with what I need. Anyway, so I assess the stats. See, I forgot to mention about the year diagram in my measures. Okay, I assessed stats. I looked at the various statistics like numbers. When was the last time the stats was updated, and how much of difference between the number of rows really and the numbers that we see in the DBA tables, and index statistics, size of the segment, if there are any lobs, assessing the lob details, and then DBA tab statistics to see if it is stale or not, and other again the same metrics like num rows, num blocks, and so on. And then DBA call statistics I took, and to see the cardinality factor of individual columns involved in the table. And I also assessed the columns on which the indexes were built. If it is a composite index, which is leading, which is not, all that I did assess them. And then histogram, I assess the histogram. So, and I came back with my feedbacks many times. It's not a 19C Oracle DB. It was 12.2 Oracle database. I didn't tell the version, right? It was a 12.2 version. So many times, what happens is, so Oracle computes histogram on places where you really don't need it. This is one of the places. In this particular database, it's a 12.2 number of records. You will be astonished like hearing me the number of records. It's 400, 500, 1500 or 1700 is the maximum number of records that was present in one table. But look at the problem that it has created. It's a very, one table doesn't have even a single record, 0 records in one of the tables. And all of the table, the zero record table was present within the subquery, a query within the subquery. And we had all other tables, we were having only 36 records. One of the table had 36 records and the other table had only 100, and then other had 400, 700, and then one more had 1300. Isn't it funny? So such a simple small tables end up creating so huge problem in Oracle DB. We cannot imagine of such a situation. That's why it really surprised me. I thought we have a way to fix it. So let's see, what did I do? I assessed the table statistics. I looked at the cardinality, like I said, and then column wise statistics as an histogram. And I found in many places where we didn't really need a histogram, Oracle computed histograms. Say for instance, this may be an interview question also for you. Why we need a histogram? If you have a data skewing, you need a histogram. Do you need a histogram on a primary key? This is an interview question. If I'm in an interview panel and if I'm a candidate, I will definitely ask you this question. Because after looking at this particular problem and I really saw why Oracle computer histogram on a primary key, I was really very surprised. Primary key cardinality will be very, very minimal, isn't it? Num distinct will be very, very huge. It will be equivalent to the number of records on the table. So why you need a histogram on this? Because you will have one record only per every single condition. That's a primary key. So you will definitely will not have a skewed data. Second situation. So on primary keys, I saw histogram was computed by Oracle. Oracle should, if someone is listening from Oracle, they can take this feedback. They can simply ensure if they can put a way to actually block DBMS, gather stats, even if it was done with for all column size auto, Oracle should evaluate whether it's a primary key column and they should avoid computing histogram on the primary key columns. And second, such column was unique columns with unique, again uniqueness also, you don't need any histogram. And then the third scenario, so primary key unique, a column which is primary key, a column which is a unique key, avoid histogram computation. And third scenario, a column which has only one distinct value. Why do you need histogram for that? I saw a histogram is available in such a column. Oracle should avoid it automatically. Even if it was for the first time when they computed it, if they find it there is only one distinct value, second time they should delete it, and then they should never compute it again. Maybe this is where they need DBA assistance. Who knows? So histograms were computed, but are they going to really impact the planet? And are they really going to help optimizer? I doubt that it will help optimizer. When you compute histogram on a primary key, it doesn't really help optimizer. So, but can it actually make the execution plan poor? I have to study that to really give you an answer. But I wouldn't suggest you have a histogram on these three scenarios: primary key, unique key, and then columns with primary key, columns with the unique key, and then one more column with only one record, one distinct record for the whole table. Such tables such ones you don't need really. Histograms are mainly needed if you have a data skewing. If I am talking about this data skewing, I remember one more incident in my previous engagement where the histogram really helped the performance. It was for Asia market, mainly for Malaysia and Singapore. The number of records present between for the particular table, the number of records for Malaysia versus Singapore, we're having a huge skewing pattern, data skewing. So we computed histogram and then really help that query performing well. The execution plans for one of the value it become full table scan, the for the other one it flipped it to index scan. There it helped really, but not in all the cases. So okay, coming back to this incident. And then we tried updating statistics, even though the table stats were not stale, but it has been 2 years, 3 years since the last the stats update happened on these tables. Because like I said, these tables doesn't have a lot of DML changes happening as well. One record or two record a week or one day, we don't know. That also doesn't happen. So, but I still updated the statistics and tried evaluating a new execution plan, generating a new execution. See if it generates a new execution plan. No, it didn't generate a new execution plan. And then I thought I'll go for some shortcuts like removing the stats to see if dynamic sampling helps. Because of so many conditions and subqueries involved, it didn't help either. It generated some new execution plan, but it still was relying on 65,000 records. Right. So then, what did I do? I couldn't help much with it. Then what did I do is I tried using various hints. So the various hints is part of my quick fix routine. It was actually really the fourth step after I removed the stats I told you, right? After that I started I tried using many hints. I really should not have done that, but I didn't have much time, so I needed to manage my time and then at the same time try to fix this problem. So I told customers that if we reduce this 65,000 times the function from getting called, we should really be able to fix the issue. So then I tried using multiple hints: push up query, result cache, no oneness, no merge, ordered execution, and so on. Ordered execution really made the query plan change a bit, but they didn't really help as well. And what did I do is I tried launching the individual queries. Say, I have this statistics level set to all, and I was monitoring the query execution to really see the estimates, if the estimates are going off from the actual rows, but it was not the case. So the problem is we never had a good execution with this particular query. It was always poor execution plan and poor execution statistics. It never had a good execution statistics. That's the problem. So I tried using all these hints: push sub queue, result cache, no oneness, no merge, ordered execution, ordered, all that, and then none of them really helped. Then I actually tried running the individual selects, though I know the estimates are correct, as it was showing up in the live monitoring of the SQL, or with the arrows in the SQL plan. Yeah, everything was matching, is fine. But still, I tried running the query to understand if there is a way I can tweak the query. I ran the queries one by one individually, and then I was astonished. I told you that I studied already the cardinalities, right? These two binds, column 2 and column 3, I wrote here, right? We're returning 100%. I mean, there is only one unique value that was for this column 1, and column 3 also had only one unique value in table 2, and that is the bind value also. So you're not going to restrict any records here. And this subquery returned nearly 400 records of the 420 records present on the table number 4. This is what ended up happening. And this function received all the records from here, and the function was the only one which was reducing 65,000 records to 300 records. Finally, the queries was returning only 300 records. So I was thinking we can change the filters. Say for instance, I give more priority for this filter by ordered execution or order, such that this will get filtered first and then the rows will go here, I thought. But none of them helped, because all of the other preference class were either resulting in all the records on the table or very less reduction. So finally, the volume of record we ended up having was 65,000, and then all the 65,000 records needed to be evaluated by the function, and the function was the main business function. Really is, it needs to do that. So this is where it stands with whatever I attempted. I could never flip the filtering mechanism and reduce the number of times the function is being called and solve the problem. And this is with my current approach, this is not solved it. What are my other options? You see, I have used even the result cache. I was thinking if we can have the recursive calls from being not executed, we can the save the time and reduce the cursor dependence. I really need to see. My only goal is to avoid 100% even the parsing itself, soft or hard. I don't want the parsing to happen. The function being called and the function should not really call other two sequels in turn. That's my goal. I'll let you know in case if I find a solution further. So this is how I triage the incident. So from this, what I'm trying to say is, as soon as I saw when the issue was reported to me in the past, I looked at the execution plan. The estimates were accurate as is aligned with the actual rows, not much deviating, not even 10%. So all this were aligned, and why I still got this execution plan which is bad, and there is no good plan available from the past. So I could never do a comparison and figure out if there is something we can really do to just flip the plan and create a profile or SPM and then fix the plan and so on. I couldn't do it because there was no good execution. So this was kind of a performance engineering exercise. So I used various tools like the statistics measurement tools, AWR, ASH, ADDM, and VM stat in the OS to measure the workload when the execution is happening, and stats update, and removing the stats and using dynamic sampling. So, and then individually assessing the query, try to understand the business function by going through the query and then changing the hints to see if it really helps. So these were various operation I attempted. So even on your case, when you come across a performance issue, try to use them and you will learn a lot. You are not alone in the world. Many people doesn't like performance issues. They don't like to answer questions because either they're not having much experience idea about that or they're not really interested in that. When I in my previous engagement, out of 20-30 DBAs we were there, only 5-6 people showed interest in performance issues, not all of them. And I was one among them. Every day we used to have performance issues and our people available on the ship refrain from going to that because they need to stand on the bridge and they need to explain the people about what the performance issues is all about. And that time 8A and 9A were there. Analyze and DBM stats both were there, which to use, which not to use, and what's the expected outcome of each of this, all that. And if you learn and you start practicing them in your work, then you get more interest. And that's how I did. I was reading Art and Science of Performance Tuning in the very beginning. I forgot the author name, but it's a very good book. I had it from a company library, and then I was reading through the book. I finished it in a month, but I really liked the book. I started practicing it. That's when I know about the VM stat and OS, Windows, Perfman, all that I came to know from that particular book. And then I eventually got interested into cost-based optimizer book. I finished nearly 13 chapters of the total chapter available on the book. But I forgot when I was reading 10th chapter, I forgot the first chapter. And then I need to reassess it. There will be a lot of formulas in the book. So all you need to do is you cannot recall all your formulas, but you need to understand how this is computed. And the third was the Expert Oracle Architecture by Tom Kite. Very, 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 very good book. CBO book and Expert Oracle Architecture by Tom Kite. They were wonderful. So this is how I got interested in performance issue, and this is how I assess this. And in case you guys have some additional tools that I could have used to better triage the incident, let me know. But I already figured out this. Given the current situation, the query really has dependency on the function, and the function is the one which does the major filtering, not any other preference clause. You cannot tune this query any further because Oracle will somehow hit the function that many number of times. Then after only the records are getting reduced because you have outer joins here. And Second thing is I have used live monitoring reports also, so don't mention live monitoring report in your feedback in case you wanted me to use it. So I have used it. Historical monitoring reports also is generated. So this is where we stand. I think this is a very lengthy video as well, but this I just wanted to record it so it may benefit others next time you come across such a issue. Being now you heard all through the scenarios that I spoke. If you come across a similar execution and similar SQL, look at the SQL and just try to find out the requirement for the function or the particular preference class if it is called many times and it's causing child and child SQLs and causing cursor point related wait events. Be sure to first attempt to first try to address that. It took me nearly 15 hours or so to triage the incident. I took a day off and then I sat in isolation and I did all this work. Finally, sent out my verdict saying this is where we stand. I need to see if there are any other alternate approaches are available. Again, thanks guys. Thanks for joining with me. This has been a very lengthy video. I'm sure you got something out of this call, out of this knowledge sharing session. If yes, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to How to Learn channel and share it with your friends. And maybe we'll meet in the next video. Maybe I'll tell you how to generate an ER diagram between a subset of tables in a schema using AI. We'll see in the next video. Thank you. Thanks for joining with me until now, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.